Vote already?
All right, we'll call a meeting to order. First item is adoption of the agenda, and we have something to add tonight.
Yes, we could add an item under number 6F, CFEP grant funding for a RETA project.
I need a motion.
As amended.
Matt, to adopt as amended. Any questions or concerns? None, all in favor? I said yes, that was carried. Okay, next up, accounts payable. Different information. Kathy? Okay, any questions or concerns?
I was wondering what we needed the dehumidifier for the arena.
I was wondering the same thing.
We use that every year to help with the condensation when we install base in September or August, just to help with the humidity.
For all of it. What else? Okay. The only comment I had is I didn't realize we were fixing up 5th Street Northeast this year.
Yes, that was the south.
Okay.
Apologies.
Okay. Seeing no other questions, all in favor? White, that is carried. Okay, next we have a delegation from the Medicine Hat Women's Shelter. We have, sorry, I should have mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, we have Dwight joining us via Teams. So if you could talk into the microphone.
Yep.
Just so you can hear it as well, that'd be great.
Thank you, Mayor Kilpatrick and Town Council, for having us here tonight. I think we come back every year around this time to just let you know what we've been up to at the Women's Shelter Society and update you on our new programming and our capital projects. I'm going to turn it over to Peggy Ravel. She's our Community Education and Awareness Coordinator to kick us off.
So what we provided is every year we do a lot of community program throughout our whole community that we serve. And I picked up for you what we're doing in Redcliff this year. I'm really happy every year I try to add on one more thing within Redcliff amongst all that I do, just because it really is important that we're out in the community. So as in previous years, we actually partner with the Redcliff Youth Center to put up purple ribbons along downtown. And I always get this question. Yes, they clean them up at the end of the month. That is part of their job too, which is important. We also have a great partnership at Parkside School with one of the teachers there, Lloyd Bray, and he makes sure that the students are involved and they put up decor and ribbons and decoration there to raise awareness within the school as well. New this year, we did a little test run at the Redcliff Library last week doing story times and activities based on empathy and dealing with big feelings like anger. For kids, that's really important, and we're starting to roll out some of that sort of programming within schools and everything. So that was an interesting, we had a very small turnout, but who we did connect with was great. And I think that's a partnership we want to focus on building on, with bringing different type of programming and educational connections to the community through the library. So hopefully we can build on that. We have some more community Redcliff and beyond. So Medicine Hat Tigers game, we had one last week. We are at the game this week. We just launched our Christmas hamper program. That is really important to us. It ensures that any family, anyone connected to the shelter doesn't miss out for Christmas. And that is so important. So that just launched today. We have through the Southeast Chamber of Commerce tomorrow afternoon from 1 till 2:30, we are doing a program, a free training called Leading Change, Domestic Violence in Your Workplace. So that's really educating people about how domestic violence, family violence, it doesn't stay at home. it comes into your workplace. And actually under occupational health and safety, you have a responsibility to help keep your employees safe, and that does extend to DV. So that is a free training that we are partnering with tomorrow with the Southeast Chamber of Commerce, which obviously that includes Redcliff businesses and organizations. So everyone is welcome to be a part of that. And as an aside, we can also offer that to other businesses, to workplaces as well, independently. So if there are interested places, connect with us and we can provide that training. So at the college, regional sort of event, we for the second year in a row, we will be doing something on November 19th for International Men's Day. And this year's theme is becoming a healthy hero, or it's up to men. You can be healthy role models. You can be a part of creating safer communities, mental health, everything like that. So we partner with the Students Association, Sonare, and we just have a really wonderful booth with swag and questions and information, really encouraging, being positive male role models for the community. So that's really exciting. And then we all know Christmas is coming. So for the second year in a row, we'll be at the Christmas market at Parkside School with our information, with some swag, but also buttons. So community members can drop by and have a chat with us as well. That's kind of a snapshot of the month.
Yep. Yeah, that's perfect. Will you click?
Okay, I'll click and you can take it back over.
I'll move here. You can.
Okay.
The other side. So we just wanted to remind you some of the programs and services that we offer. We are called the Medicine Hat Women's Shelter Society, but we really do serve all of Southeast Alberta. So obviously Redcliff, Cypress County, up to Oyen, down to Brooks, over to the Sano, all those kind of areas. So we do try to offer as much as we can. Some of our second stage shelter, for example, is the only second stage shelter south of Calgary. So we do get a lot of people who want those kind of services and who come from all over to access that as well. So we offer a 24/7 support, which is a helpline that's always open so that people can call, and if they need access to come into shelter right away, we can make that happen. We have a toll-free line as well. And then during COVID, we added a text line and a web chat line, which we found to be really very popular. It's sometimes really stressful to have to pick up a phone and actually talk to a real person. And so being able to text or to go on the web chat is really easier. We're also finding it's also great for the younger generation who doesn't like to use the phones as much. And so that way they can access help as well. So that was an important thing for us to add. So our Phoenix Safe House is our main emergency shelter, which is primarily a 21-day stay. People stay longer, of course, if they need to, and it's a 30-bed shelter. Musasa House is our second stage shelter, and that's a row of 9 townhouses. They're 3-bedroom, 2-story townhouse. It just looks like sort of a row of housing. It's just on the other side of our emergency shelter, so it's great. We're on the same kind of area, but that's where women and their kids can go to have a longer stay. They can stay there for up to a year, and we find that that's really successful for them to be able to catch their breath and kind of get back on their feet and have the time that they need to make some decisions that are not sort of in the middle of a crisis time. During that time, we provide a lot of wraparound supports and services to them through groups or individual work with our worker, and so the kids get that sort of wraparound support as well. So we find it's a really good place for them to really do some healing and to kind of get back on their feet. We also offer outreach services. That's our partnership with the Medicine Hat Police Service, and we do work quite closely with Redcliff as well. And so we work to make sure that those families that are coming through the DBQ, the domestic violence queue through the police, are getting timely services. So if a family comes through the queue, we give them a call within a day or 2 days just to check in on them and make sure that, the services that they need, if they would like services, and if they would like to come in and talk to somebody, and that we offer for both the victim and the abuser, perpetrator, whatever language, if they're willing to if they're open to having those conversations, we're more than willing to have them come in and talk, not together, but to talk to somebody as well. So a big part of the work that we do as well, the shelter, is our children and youth support. We really feel like it's important for us to work to try to break the cycle of violence that a lot of these kids are growing up in and make sure that it's not just perpetuating itself and continuing on. So we offer that for the families who are living in either of our shelters, and for families who live in the community. We get a lot of kids who just come in for drop-in visits for outreach and work with our family support workers and get the supports they need to figure out how to navigate maybe living in those situations. We get a lot of calls as well from teachers and staff, people like that, who are wanting some supports for them to understand how to help those kids. So that's really a great service for them. As well as on site, we run a daycare program. So that's really successful for families who are staying in daycare, sort of staying in the shelter to be able to live their kids in daycare while they go out and do some of their appointments. You can only, those of you who have kids know what it's like hauling your kids around. You're trying to get things done. So when you're in crisis, on top of it all, you're going to have to go and have heavier conversations potentially with lawyers or mediators or different things like that. You know, it's a lot easier to have those without worrying about your kids as well. So yeah, looking, you're like, so our numbers continue to be pretty consistent. Over, like you can see, overall, we had over 1,100 people through our different programs and services. I think of what note of that is that 251 of that were children. So that's a lot of kids who are needing our support. So I said, I was saying this in a speech the other day, that at one of the nights in June, it was this beautiful, balmy, sunny day, lovely, you know, summer evening, and we had 32 kids in between the two shelters. And it just kind of really makes you pause and kind of think about, you know, those kids had nothing to do with where they've ended up, but here they are needing some supports, and they're living in a shelter on a beautiful sunny day. So we make it the best we can while they're there. We have a lot of fun and the kids have a good time, but it still is kind of poignant that it's still that they're in a shelter. But so our helpline was busy. We had almost 2,000 calls at that. That's not always calls for support. It's sometimes people calling to look for coming into the shelter as well. But also it's sometimes people who are calling who want to help somebody out and want some advice, or really where they can direct them to it. So we're really happy to get those kind of calls as well. And you can see the text and web chat line is also very well used. Between the two shelters, like I said, we managed to serve a lot of people, and a lot of people were coming in looking for supports. We're definitely seeing an increase in people coming in with the severity of abuse getting worse. We're seeing a lot more in terms of strangulation of women, and those have a lot of long-term effects in terms of concussions and brain damage and things like that. So we're really definitely keeping an eye on wanting to support people in that way. And you can see through our police program, the outreach program, we had over almost 700 adults come through that program. So that we find is quite a successful program. We weren't sure at first when we started it if people would be open to having those conversations, but we find really people are really happy to reach out and get that help. And a lot of times people think that they can't come to the shelter if they don't need a bed. And so sometimes people are okay, or they can make other arrangements, but they still need the help to figure out how to navigate it, particularly an unsafe situation. And so that's really great. We're able to do that. Oh, now we're here. So yeah, so last year, I think when we came to talk to you, we had just launched our capital campaign. We're doing a renovation on the emergency shelter. That shelter is a 25-year-old shelter. It was purpose-built as a shelter, so it was lovely. But we're 25 years into it, and we've just grown out of space. Sadly, it's a 24/7 facility as well. So there's a lot of wear and tear and upkeep that's required for that kind of facility. And so when it was built as an 11-bed shelter with a capacity to expand to 18, they thought, if they had to get to that point. And so now we're a 30-bed shelter in that same physical blueprint. So we're definitely just bursting at the seams, and really just tried to be really creative in terms of how we've reappropriated spaces to make things work. But how it's ended up is that a lot of things have ended up like the daycare is running out of the basement, which isn't great for kids. It's dark and not really a lovely environment. The laundry is in the basement, so people need to do laundry, have to do stairs. The group room facility is downstairs. So there's a lot of that thing going on. And if you can appreciate that, of all those numbers I showed you, women are coming into the shelter because they're hurt. They're physically been hurt. So a lot of them maybe have been thrown down the stairs, have been punched, or been beaten badly, and they can't do stairs. It's just the logistics of it. They can't just do it. They're on crutches. And so we just want to be more of an accessible shelter. We want to be able to offer people some respect and dignity when they come in, crisis and in trauma, and to be able to give them a soft place to land and make sure that they can heal with their children and figure out how to make things work. So this is our big build. It's big because we just decided we better go big or go home. And if we're going to do it, make sure we're here for the long term, that if it needs to expand even more, it could. We're not looking to expand bed size necessarily, but more just the functionality of the space. Some of it is because it was a 25-year-old building. Once we started getting into it, we realized we weren't meeting code on something. So we needed to install a fire suppression system, which meant all the ceilings had to come down. And then, HVAC came with that. We're a secured facility because of the nature of the work. And so that needed to get upgraded as well. So there was a lot of things that once you start, you kind of get into it, and then it's just a lot of stuff. So one of the things that, I don't know if I talked about this last year, but during COVID, we realized that it was hard. We have shared the bedroom level is upstairs, and there's 8 bedrooms up there with 2 bathrooms. So you have one mom come in with COVID, there goes one bathroom because she needs to isolate and keep that bathroom. So we had one bathroom for the rest of the 7 bedrooms. Well, I don't know if you share bathrooms in a house, but it's not ideal. And communal living is hard enough. And sometimes, these moms have a whole passel of little kids with them, and they just want to give their babies baths and put them to bed and feel safe that night. And so we're putting ensuite bathrooms in each of the bedrooms. Nothing fancy, but just a little bathroom, just so you can bathe your kid and clean them up and put them to bed. We're adding more barrier-free rooms because we only had one on the main floor, and more people are getting injured and not able to do stairs. So we're adding that to be able to have that capacity, moving things up to the main floor. So a lot of that. So really just trying to be inclusive and be more accessible and be around for the long term and make sure it's a sustainable. So we're doing our due diligence. It's an $8.5 million project. We were able to set aside $2 million on board level in terms of sort of squirreling away, knowing that this was sort of coming. We've been advocating for funding. So we have got some funding from private businesses. We have got some donations, and we just got a big donation from the Kinsmen. So that was a lovely donation from a service club. Cypress County has just committed to give us $225,000 in their next budget. So that's really wonderful. So we're really just shamelessly plugging, looking for some help and looking for some support for all the different municipalities that we work with and all the different towns that we support and that we do. So I'm happy to take some questions if you have any.
Anyone have any questions? Okay. I guess not.
Okay,
Thank you very much for the update.
Thank you very much.
Can I get a motion just to receive that for information? Larry? Okay. All in favor? Carried. Have a nice night, ladies. Moving on to minutes. First up, we got council organizational meeting minutes from October 28th, 2024.
Adoption.
Kathy for adoption. Any questions or concerns or errors that you saw on that? Okay, seeing none. All in favor? Carried. Next up, we've got council meeting minutes from October 28th, 2024 for adoption. Matt? Okay, any questions, concerns, errors, omissions on that? Seeing none. All in favor? Carried. Okay, then we have special capital budget council meeting, October 29th, 2024. Larry? Any questions or concerns about that one? No? Okay. All in favor? Carried. We got special Redcliff Cypress Regional Waste Management Authority meeting October 31st for information. Larry? Okay, any questions or concerns about that one? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Okay. Next up, we have the Redcliff Library Board meeting, June 18th, 2024.
For information.
Kathy. Any questions or concerns about that one? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. And then we have Town of Redcliff Library Board meeting September 26, 2024. Matt? Questions or concerns on that one? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. All right, moving along to requests for decision. Doubtful receivable accounts for consideration.
Move option one.
Matt moves option one. Approve and authorize administration to write off the total amount of $13.54. Okay, any questions or concerns? Matt?
This, to refresh my memory, like these are like accounts that are like they moved or where is this stemming from again?
The majority of these would be grandfathered tenants who had their own utilities and have left. These amounts have gone to collections and they've been there for over a year.
No.
So we just write them off.
Okay, any other questions? Seeing none. All in favor of option one? Carried. Okay, correspondence, AB Municipalities, Gandam, 2024 outstanding resolutions. It's here for information.
For information.
Kathy? Any questions or concerns on that? Basically just ran out of time. No? Okay. All in favor? Carried. Okay, other. Stage 1 water conservation measures 2024 rescindment and normal conditions here. Larry? Any questions or concerns on that? Seeing none, all in favor? That's carried. 5th Street Southeast Infrastructure Upgrade Project 2024. Staff report here for information. Matt?
It's really nice to drive on. Must add.
Yeah, that hump that was in the middle is gone.
Any questions or concerns for Alicia on that one? Seeing none. All in favor? Carried. Municipal manager report to council, November 12th, 2024. Here for information.
For information.
Kathy? Any questions or concerns on that? Anyone else have questions or concerns first?
I just had one, the poor paving job that was done in the skateboard park. Has that been repaired, replaced?
Not replaced as of yet. They are currently repairing certain sections we identified as deficiencies, and I do believe they started yesterday. They still have some patching to do as well.
I think there was some bad areas as well on the.
Yes, those are also getting corrected.
Of the sprinkler head.
Yes. That has also been repaired.
Okay, any other questions?
Didn't see our fire truck on the new pictures on Facebook. I mean, it's,
On the Tuesday? I
they
did,
just posted them today. I didn't see it on there, so is it on its way?
no, not yet. We're anticipating final inspection at the end of the month and then delivery probably mid-December.
Yeah, no, just before I came here, I was looking and they just posted, I didn't see it on there, so I'm like,
Is it gonna be hot shotted or is somebody actually gonna drive it here?
I believe they're bringing it down, yes.
no, I would have known.
I just had a question under fleet here. So I believe last month we talked about the Kubota tractor PTO issues. I see it's on here. I think it pretty much does the exact same thing as last month. So has there been no movement on that?
We had a meeting last Friday, and we are receiving a full refund for that unit.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
they could not repair it. So we discussed with the supplier as well as the sale house, which we got it from, that it was not a viable option for the town of Redcliff. So they offered us a refund and we took it.
So are we going to be sending out a new RFP then, or?
You said there was numerous, like, it wasn't just us, it was,
It was not just us.
Well, that's very generous. Okay. Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor of receiving for information? It's carried. Landfill graphs for information. Larry, any questions or concerns on those? If none, all in favor for information? Carried. Council important meetings and events. Here for information. That. Okay,
Is anybody other than me going to the dinner with the minister?
Right.
Great.
that was my response too. I asked would you be sat at different tables, but. Thursday night.
Yes, Thursday night.
Anything missing from this?
see a GPC on it. But money I can't make it. If we do,
Shannon said there is no time this month that I threw a mini party. Okay. All in favor, receive for information? That is carried. Okay, so Shannon texted me a suggested motion for the CFEP grant funding.
So if I could just maybe a little background, you're being reached out to with regards to the CFEP application for
I need a motion first because we're supposed to before you talk about it.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion that a letter be provided to the Community Facility Enhancement Program that the town of Redcliff is committed to providing matching funds in the amount of $740,000 for the Redcliff Rectangle Arena Ice Plant Project.
Go ahead, Shannon.
that sends it off. We were